Yeah.
You want to like him, but you can't.
Are you listening?
What?
Are you listening?
Did you bring me on this show to insult me?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all don't want it with us, man. You straight gangsters over here.
Straight
man.
gangsters. Yeah, good morning. It is November 15th, a beautiful Thursday morning, and you are listening to Scout Team Sports. We are the Scout Team. I am one of your gracious hosts. They call me Loudbeard.
You are the most egotistical, self-deluded person I have ever met.
Yep, all of that is true. And the man on the other microphone, if he has it turned on, which he usually does, is the great patriot himself, and we call him... Nope, slept in today. I see how that's going. All right, good morning, everybody. I'm excited to be here on this beautiful Thursday morning. We are getting excited for a great weekend of college football, of pro football, a little bit of everything, because College Game Day is coming to the Orlando area, and the Scout Team is here in Orlando, and we will be representing at College Game Day. We are excited about that, and it is going to be a great time. Also, last night, we get big announcements for the AL and NL Cy Young. We will dive a little deeper into that. And if you go NBA from the action last night, there is only one topic that needs to be discussed, and that is LeBron James passing Wilt Chamberlain on the all-time scoring list. LeBron moves up to number 5, and he is got a long way to go, but he is moving his way up the list. He's got a few more major superstars to pass, but sitting there at number 5. A great night last night for LeBron and a huge win for the Lakers. Also, NCAA basketball, Duke is at it again. Unbelievable. And then we get a little bit of a rematch of last year's championship with Michigan and Nova. The results may surprise you. And lastly, tonight, Green Bay versus Seattle. We've got a big NFC matchup. Superstar quarterbacks Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers both going at it. We have a action-packed show ahead of you. So once again, thank you all for listening in. This is the Scout Team. You can catch us each and every morning, weekdays, 6 a.m. and again at 11 a.m. on 12-ounce Sports Radio. We also take every live show and turn it into a podcast. We drop that podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and anywhere podcasts can be found, including our website, scoutteamradio.com. So, with all that being said, let's get started here. Let's see what we've got going on. I'm gonna start with some baseball. I know that the awards for baseball, this is something that's a little challenging. We talked about this earlier in the week, is why do they have to come out with each award a different day of the week? They're like, let's string this along as long as possible. They did the Rookie of the Year award earlier in the week. They did the Manager of the Year awards earlier in the week. And then we finally get the Cy Young. And last night when they announced these Cy Youngs, I would say that maybe not so many surprises along with this. I would say definitely on the NL side, not a surprise. Jacob deGrom gets 29 out of the 30 first-place votes. He's beating out those big-time names, Max Scherzer and Aaron Nola, who were second and third, respectively. Now, the controversy with deGrom all year long was more so, how does a guy that doesn't have that many wins, does not have that much run support, still get into that Cy Young conversation? Because we're talking about a guy with a 10-9 record. And if you look at it in a vacuum, a 10-9 record in Major League Baseball is just not a really great record. So this isn't a guy, usually a guy with a 10-9 record is not in that Cy Young conversation. But the New York Mets were historically bad with run support for Jacob deGrom, and Jacob deGrom was historically good with his absolutely incredibly low ERA at 1.7. So with all of that being said, that could have created some controversy because Max Scherzer and Aaron Nola both had phenomenal seasons. Scherzer and Aaron Nola both were considered for this. But when the voters went down and looked at it, they did not say, okay, you had a bad record. Okay, you didn't have any run support. Because those are not in Jacob deGrom's control. What is in his control is how many earned runs he allows and what he brings to the table each and every outing. And deGrom, with, like I had mentioned, that 1.7 ERA, which is a historically low ERA, he had to get the love, and 29 out of 30 first-place votes. The sole first-place vote that he did not receive did go to Max Scherzer. Max Scherzer ends up second in voting. But Jacob deGrom, well-deserved, on a bad team, still had one of the great seasons in Major League Baseball. Now, on the AL side, this one could have been a little bit more surprising. Now, Blake Snell, not the big name. He's going up against Corey Kluber and Justin Verlander. Kluber and Verlander are these guys that are in that Cy Young conversation year in and year out. These big-time players for these big-time clubs, the Cleveland Indians with Kluber, well, maybe not for long, but this season and the past few seasons, and Verlander over with the Astros, Verlander coming off of that big World Series championship. So you have these big names, these more household names, and a young guy by the name of Blake Snell playing for the Tampa Bay Rays ends up getting the win. Now, he had a phenomenal record, 21-5. He helped his Tampa Bay Rays be competitive this year, which a lot of us weren't expecting the Rays to be competitive. But the Rays ended up coming out and being a competitive club, mostly because of the pitching, especially by this young Blake Snell. And he ends up with a 1.89 ERA, which, again, that is a great ERA, especially for how many starts he had. So he wins, and it's well-deserved. This is an award that this guy earned coming from, out of nowhere, basically. He's the youngest player to win the Cy Young since Kershaw won it. And, this is just a great award for this guy. And I'm glad to see a Rays player getting the love that he deserves because I left this team for dead from the very beginning. And the way he pitched, he kept his club, he kept the Tampa Bay Rays in the conversation week in and week out. And they were going up against, just think of their division. They're going up against the Red Sox and the Yankees and the Blue Jays. And when you look at these juggernauts of the Yankees and the Red Sox, you have to think, it is unbelievable to have that 21-5 record and keep such a low ERA because those teams have such huge bats, and these are the teams that the Rays consistently were playing. So on the baseball side of things, the AL and NL were just the Cy Youngs were announced last night. Again, baseball strings it out so we can keep talking about it. But that's it, man. I've had enough of my baseball talk for today. Congratulations to both of those pitchers. The season's over. We're going to move on. We still haven't gotten the MVP announced for the MLB. I'm sure that's coming here soon. So once we do, we will, I'm sure, continue to talk about that. Baseball's doing a good job of keeping their sport in the limelight, especially when you have such great NBA action. You have great college basketball action. You've got NFL going on. With all of that going on, you would think it would be difficult to be able to continue to talk about baseball, but baseball is doing it. They're stringing along their awards, and they're making that conversation continually about them. And I like it. I'm good with that. I can live with that. That's not a problem at all. All right, moving on to the NBA. Gotta love me some NBA. This is a little deep, dark secret for all of the listeners out there. Loudbeard is a huge NBA fan. I have been for a long, long time. I guess when little Loudbeard was growing up, he grew up in a very good time of the NBA, and that would be the time when Michael Jordan roamed the courts, and those days were some of the most exciting. I remember being able to watch Chicago Bulls games and just, I don't know, it was almost like mystifying or just some sort of like magic that was out there, because Jordan always put on a show. And to this day, I contribute my fandom and my love and my passion for the NBA to being able to watch those Chicago Bulls. The entrance music, I loved watching them come in. They had that entrance music in the Chicago arena, and they would announce the players, and you would get your Scottie Pippen and Steve Kerr and Horace Grant and Michael Jordan. And, I mean, just, it was electric. The crowd was into it. And even watching on TV, I could just get into it. And I loved the passion that was out there. I loved the excitement, and it created just this adrenaline rush. And to this day, when I watch NBA, I still think about those great moments. And that's been a stroll down memory lane with Loudbeard. It's good stuff, right? So, strolling a little bit more down memory lane, I talk about MJ, but we have a man that is living right now, playing right now, that is a legend in his own right, and that would be LeBron James. If you've listened to the show in the past, or if you have been a listener for a long time, you know that I am a big LeBron James advocate. I know that LeBron has his downfalls. I know that he has not won as many championships as MJ. I know there is probably some things that I need to maybe admit that maybe LeBron isn't the greatest of all time, and I can admit that. Like I said, I grew up on Michael Jordan, so I know that Michael Jordan is definitely one of those guys that goes down in my record books as the best of all time. So I'm not going to take that away from Michael Jordan, but I love watching LeBron. And last night, LeBron, he ends up going for a huge night. He scores 44 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists, helps lead his team to victory. But that is not the historical significance of last night. The historical significance of last night is he has moved up the scoring leaderboard, passing Wilt Chamberlain. This is a huge feat because now he is in the top 5. And the players ahead of LeBron James right now, I mean, this is a legendary list, and I will say that number 4 is Michael Jordan, so he still needs to pass Michael Jordan. Number 3, Kobe Bryant. Number 2, Karl Malone. And number 1, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And Kareem's got a pretty good lead on everybody. He's got over 38,000 points. So LeBron's got a lot of work to do. Now, I will say, just in defense of some of the older players, a guy like MJ went to college for 4 years, where Kobe and LeBron go straight out of high school. That's like adding 4 additional years onto your career, and if you add 4 additional years, yes, it'll be a lot easier to score. So that almost makes the significance of what Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is doing at their number 1 with the scoring even more significant, because Kareem played over at UCLA. He dominated as Lou Alcindor, and he is still sitting head and shoulders above guys like the mailman Karl Malone and guys like Kobe Bryant and MJ. So as LeBron moves up this list, which I undoubtedly believe he will, now I don't know if he will pass Kareem, but he will continue to move up this list. This is such a significant event for LeBron, and I'd like to give him the credit where it's due, and great night there for LeBron. And just looking at his stat line, 44, 10, and 9, you know he was out there, he was pumped, he was passionate. Now he does lose teammate Rajon Rondo, who breaks his hand in the game. He's going to probably miss 3-4 weeks, so that's going to be a little bit of a blow for the Lakers. But the Lakers seem like they're a little rejuvenated. The Lakers seem like they're a little bit more excited. And I love to see this about the Lakers because they started out a little bit flat. And I kind of have to contribute picking up Tyson Chandler to being part of the success that we've seen with the Los Angeles Lakers. I think that getting a defensive-minded player that doesn't need the ball, because you've already got enough guys on this team that want the ball in their hand. You know, when you've got LeBron and you've got Lonzo and you got Kuzma, you got Rondo, you got guys that already want the ball in their hands. But you bring in a guy like Tyson Chandler, who is a veteran presence. He's a guy that has a championship. He won a championship when he was with the Dallas Mavericks. You're bringing that extra veteran leadership to this team, but he's going to be such a great defensive anchor in the middle of the court, in the paint. He's going to be a presence that the Lakers needed because their defense has not been that good this year, and that has been a huge problem for them. And getting a guy like Tyson Chandler in there is just going to improve that defense. It's only going to get better from here, and we know that the Lakers, having LeBron James on their team, that's like an ace in the hole, right? They're going to have that opportunity, and I can see good things moving ahead here for Los Angeles. You know, we talked about it last night on our Scout Team After Dark show that airs every Wednesday from 7:30 to 9 o'clock. It's a little bit racier. It's got a little bit more edge to it. So we come out and just no rules applied. We go all in on our Scout Team After Dark. But last night, we talked a little bit about this Lakers team and how they had that slow start and how it was a mixed match of players that were put in together. When you think of a guy like Rajon Rondo, who he did come off of a great season over in New Orleans last year, but he has been a guy that's been around the league. We know that he won a championship over with Boston years and years ago, but he's moved around. He's gone to Dallas, he's gone to Sacramento, he's gone to New Orleans. So this isn't his first stop. He's been well-traveled, and he's usually a little bit, I guess I could say, a troublemaker. He's a little bit of a troublemaker when it comes to his attitude on the court. So you don't know how he's going to mash and mix up with LeBron. Then you bring a guy like JaVale McGee. He's also a guy, he's got some emotions, and his tempers flare up from time to time. You mix him in. Then you've got the young guys. You got a guy like Lonzo Ball, who his father, we all know, is the centerpiece of attention in any room that he goes in. He's the loudmouth, that overbearing, that crazy father. So is that going to be a distraction in the background? You got a young guy like Kyle Kuzma that you want to continue to develop when you bring in all these veteran guys. So we didn't know what this Los Angeles Lakers experiment was going to end up being. We almost thought, hey, this could explode. And LeBron came out and said, hey, he was about to crack a couple weeks ago. I think the losing and then just knowing that, you know, he's in the prime of his career, probably on the tail end / slide prime of his career. And to be able to spend these times, to be able to spend that moment of your career and not have a good team around you, I'm sure that was mentally exhausting for LeBron. But when he goes to crack, I think he decides, you know what, I got to be mentally stronger than this. I got to pull it together. And that's what he does. He pulls it together, and I think now, as the charisma and as the chemistry and as everything kind of comes together for this team, you're starting to see some success. So last night they pull off a big victory over the Trailblazers, which the Blazers are a phenomenal team. Anytime you get a win over Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum, that is a feather in your cap. It's a 126-117 victory. The Lakers score a ton at 126 with 44 coming from LeBron. Big win, just absolutely big win from them. So great game last night for the Lakers, and congratulations to you, LeBron James, moving to number 5 all-time on the scoring list for the NBA. So great feat for him as we continue on. Other action last night in the NBA, I've got to say it, the Cleveland Cavaliers are back. The Cleveland Cavaliers are back. That is correct. Last night, Cleveland shows up the way that we know Cleveland likes to show up. They take the L, 119-95 to Washington. And again, this is a struggling Washington, a reeling Washington that has had a disappointing start to their season. They're trying to pull it back together. Last night, Bradley Beal leads them in scoring. The Washington Wizards are trying to pull it back together. They have a lot of talent. They've got John Wall and Bradley Beal and Otto Porter and Dwight Howard and a ton of talent, but they haven't been able to pull it all together, and they haven't been able to make it all work, and they haven't been able to do everything that they needed to do. So with that being said, the Cavaliers gave them that win that they well needed and that win that they deserved. So that was a huge win last night for them. So Cleveland, the historically bad season will continue, and the fact that they have 2 wins this time in the year instead of just 1, I'm absolutely flabbergasted. The Hornets handed them a win the other night, so Cleveland decided to get back where they needed to be, and that is back on the losing trail. So congratulations to you, Cleveland Cavaliers. Your historic year is going to continue, and I'm here to watch every second of it. It's going to be a fun, wild ride. But I mean, I hate to hate on Cleveland. I hate to hate on them. I mean, they're a good team. Okay, no, they're not a good team. Okay, I do like to hate on. Okay, whatever. Cleveland Cavaliers, I'm going to watch the dumpster fire as it continues to burn throughout the season, and I will continue to talk about you. So continue burning, Cleveland. Continue what you do out there, and that is lose. Good thing you have Baker Mayfield for your football team, because otherwise you may never see a win the rest of the year. All right, big debut last night. Jimmy Butler debuts for his new team, the 76ers. We talked about that blockbuster trade as it had come down earlier in the week, and now the new players have moved teams, and Butler debuts last night. So this should be a big, monumental debut for Jimmy Butler. But unfortunately, it ends up being an extremely lackluster showing for Butler. 14 points, 4 rebounds, and they take the loss. So the 76ers, with their new teammate, lose 111-106. And it's just not a great showing out there for the 76ers. I just don't know what else to say. They lose to my hometown team, the Orlando Magic, and, you know, that's not a team that they should be losing to be honest with you. I watch this Orlando Magic because the scout team is here in Central Florida from Orlando. I watch this Orlando Magic team, and this is not a team that I sit there and say, okay, this is a great team. They should be beating the 76ers, who should be the top of the Eastern Conference. No, this Orlando Magic team. This is a young team. They've got flashes of potential, but they shouldn't be beating the 76ers. Now, I'm not going to overreact game 1, though that's what I'm here to do, and I am an overreactor, so maybe I will overreact a little bit. But I am going to say that you can't judge an entire season on one game, and Jimmy Butler, he is going to have to learn how to play with his new teammates. He's got Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and Joel Embiid is kind of that alpha on this team. So Jimmy Butler's going to have to learn how to kind of take a back seat, but also be there and be alpha B. So you're going to have number 1 Joel Embiid, and Jimmy Butler's going to be number 1A on this team. And the guy that's going to make them all work together really well is Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is a phenomenal facilitator. He always has a ton of assists. He knows how to move the ball around. He doesn't have a great shot, so he's going to need to rely heavily on Jimmy Butler. And as this team meshes and gets together, I can only see them getting better from here. Losing game 1, it doesn't mean a whole lot, but the Butler experiment needs to be able to have time to develop and time to get better. And I'm excited to see where Butler ends up coming together with Embiid and Simmons and what this potential. And J.J. Redick. I have to talk about J.J. Redick because, you know, he's a great player. He's an Orlando Magic legend, and there's all that jazz. Wow, I hear a lot of background static all of a sudden. That must mean only one thing. America. No, I lied.
Yeah, it's your boy Chris America coming to you live. Loudbeard, I do not understand why the iPhone does not have a daily alarm setting. I apologize. I forgot to turn my alarms on. It's it's a nightly chore that I have to do, and I forgot to do it last night. I don't understand why there's not just I can set my alarm to be a daily thing.
Well, I'm glad you jumped in because we had a tweet this morning, and I think it was a pretty important tweet for me to read on air because our boy, Memphis Spence, who tweets at us every day now, we love you, Memphis, continue what you're doing. And he said, is this what will happen to Chris's Scout team's locker? And there's a little smiley face. And the answer is yes. So last night on our After Dark show, we talked about how the Pittsburgh Steelers went in and raided Le'Veon Bell's locker. So when you didn't show up this morning, there was a discussion about kicking you off of the team because you've been holding out for 24 minutes of the morning show. And us going in and raiding your locker like the Pittsburgh Steelers raided the locker of Le'Veon Bell last night.
Well,
so
let me
I'm
tell
just
you
saying, Memphis Spence, I'm going to let him take your cleats. Just letting you know.
Well, just so you know, my cleats are Bobos, so you can totally have those. The only other thing you're going to find in there is a half pack of Big League Chew, maybe an old Gatorade bottle that's just got just a sip left. I don't know why I left it in there, but threw it in there, just totally forgot about it. And some Halloween candy from like 3 years ago.
Well, is it candy corn? Because they say candy corn hasn't been manufactured since 1955, and they just keep recycling the same candy corn. So if it is, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, totally candy corn and peanuts, circus peanuts.
Oh, okay. Circus peanuts. You got a little place in my heart for circus peanuts. They are so delicious and nutritious. Maybe not as nutritious as delicious, but all of the above is definitely for certain. So I would say that I love me some circus peanuts. So I'm gonna tweet back right now because I tweet at Loudbeard, and you can also catch the show at Scout Team Radio. So I'm gonna tweet back right now to Memphis Spence. I claim his circus peanuts,
yes.
And hopefully Memphis Spence knows what I'm talking about.
No, he knows because he saw our Twitter poll from a few weeks ago where you drafted circus peanuts. What was the other thing that was on your list that was questionable? Was it the candy corn? I think it was.
Yeah, I think it was candy corn, circus peanuts. Yeah, because people hate candy corn. Candy corn's like a love-hate relationship. Some people love it. A lot of people hate it. So, yeah, I had candy corn and circus peanuts, which are basically both the same thing. It's just like sugar that they've turned into some sort of like mush and made it into a candy.
Uh-huh.
So, I don't know. We are getting another question on the Twitter machine. We have Dallas Hogg, also known as Ian from 12 Ounce Sports Radio, asking, Scout Team Radio, should the players have been loyal to Le'Veon Bell? The answer is no. For me, Chris America, do you have a different answer that you would like to share?
No, because we've already said that in sports, relationship is a relationship of need, and once that need is gone, so is that relationship. So, no, I don't think that the team deserves to be loyal, and that's why I say that players, coaches, GMs, whatever, fans, like everybody's loyalty is based on need. So once that need is gone, it's over. So I don't know. I don't think they should be loyal. I mean, if he's still friendly to them. Now I know Ben Roethlisberger said that he texted him saying, "Hey, I hope you show up. If not, man, good luck to whatever you do." And he never texted him back. So even then, that should add to the non-loyalty because they're still human beings. They still have friendships. I think if they could still remain friends if they're all cool with each other, but not like loyal. I don't know. I don't think so. You say, hey, good luck to you, and we're moving on. We've already moved on. So that need for Le'Veon Bell is no longer there. Just like Le'Veon Bell's need for the Steelers is no longer there, and the relationship's over.
Yeah, I'm with you. There is no need for loyalty. It was a great question on our Twitter machine, so I appreciate that, Ian. Thank you for sending that in, but I think Chris America and I are both on the same page here. We both don't believe that there is any loyalty that needs to be there. He left his team, and as teammates, they have every right to go get those cleats. That's my opinion. And right
Yes.
before you jumped on to the air, I was talking about how Jimmy Butler had a lackluster performance. Now his team, they lose. The 76ers lose. His old team, the Timberwolves, get a big win, 107-100 against the New Orleans Pelicans, and they are looking good without Butler. So we will see how that story continues here and as it unravels. But with all that being said, Chris America,
Well-
I know you've only been on for 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, whatever it may have been, but it is already time for a commercial break. When we come back,
I will tease it. Did Jimmy Butler have a bad game, or did he just run into a buzzsaw known as the great future NBA champions Orlando Magic?
When I'm working hard, I build up a thirst for sports. That's when I grab a cold 12-ounce sports radio. "12-ounce sports radio. Quench your sports thirst."
Oh, guess who it is? Did you know the station had a janitor? Oh yeah, the Jefe, otherwise known as Beck. And it's Beck's Work Week in Review live on 12-Ounce Sports Radio every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Catch interviews, special guests, and the recap of the week's news and headlines and box scores and results. It's Beck's Work Week in Review live on 12-Ounce Sports Radio.
Scout Team listeners and friends of the show, I've got something special for you. It looks like 12-Ounce Sports Radio has done it again. We have partnered with Rally House. You just go to the website 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner on the right side of the page, and it will take you directly to Rally House. Rally House has some of the greatest, most unique sports items for that diehard fan, casual fan, and anybody and everybody out there that is special in your life. So go ahead and check it out. Once again, go to that website, 12ozsportsradio.com. Click on the banner to the right of the page, and you will get taken to the best sports merchandise website on all of the interweb. Do you own a small business? Are you looking for solutions to all of your communications problems and challenges that you have? Check out Ring Central. Give them a call. They have partnered with 12ouncesportsradio.com to give you the best rates on all of your business and office solutions for communication. Give them a call today. We have a dedicated line for all of the 12-ounce sports radio listeners. It is 1-877-779-3860. You will get a representative on the phone who will help you with all of your small business communications needs. Once again, give them a call today, 1-877-779-3860. Yeah, welcome back on this beautiful Thursday morning. You are listening to the Scout Team bringing you Scout Team Sports. He's Chris America. I'm Loudbeard. We're coming at you hot and live every weekday morning, 6 a.m. and again at 11 a.m. on 12-Ounce Sports Radio. And if you haven't caught any of our old episodes, or if you weren't able to get up at 6 a.m. this morning and you want to listen, we dropped the podcast immediately after the show, and you can go and listen on scoutteamradio.com, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or anywhere podcasts can be found. And if you are listening to the radio station, there is always a great lineup ahead, so make sure you check out some of the other great shows. Our good friend Memphis Spence, who likes to tweet in at the Scout Team Radio Twitter account, he is also a big listener of the show, and he puts on an amazing show. It comes on at noon.
Loudbeard,
Yes.
I think What's Up Sports is on at noon today.
Oh, is it? Is today the day? Are you sure?
I think today's Thursday. I thought their show was on Thursdays. I think that's the
All right.
one day of the week. We'll have to double check.
All right. Now I have to go look. You're throwing off my spiel, but I'm like
looking
to have
now.
accurate
Well,
information.
we have to have accurate.
We're all about accuracy, and let's see. We're going accurate. You're right. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, College Credit Hour comes on at noon with Memphis Spence. On Thursdays and today only, What's Up Sports with our good friend Jimmy. Also, another really great show. Make sure you check out what Jimmy is doing over there at What's Up Sports. He helped co-host this show with us a couple weeks ago, and he did a bang-up job. Really great guy, brings a lot of great sports and analysis to the table. So check out What's Up Sports today at noon.
So
Thank
they're
you
at
for the
noon, but
correction
they're
there.
also
I-
on. They're also on daily at 11 p.m. So if you like what you hear at noon, make sure you tune in at 11 p.m. too. Every single day you can catch those guys.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when he wanted to go daily, he gave me a call. We talked about it, and I said, do it, man. You got to go with your passion. You got to follow your heart. 11 p.m. is a tough time slot, and he said he didn't care. He's going to battle that time slot, and he's going to make sure he's going to make it work, and he's going to be successful. And you know what? I support what What's Up Sports is doing. Make sure you listen whenever you can. So great stuff on the radio station, 12-ounce sports radio. But moving back to where we were talking, you were bringing up the Orlando Magic. You were bringing up what the Orlando Magic did. So when Jimmy Butler debuts, he hits a buzzsaw. And we know what that buzzsaw is. That is future champion Orlando Magic.
This is what that buzzsaw sounds like. That's right. Orlando Magic won, so we're playing this song today. They beat the mighty 76ers. They shut down Jimmy Butler. Our Orlando Magic, the future champions, won last night, and it was a great game.
Was it a good game or a great game?
It was a great game. Anytime the
All right.
Magic win, it's great. Anytime they lose, it was a crappy game.
Do they still give out free Papa John's pizzas the day after the Magic win?
No. Hopefully the Magic separated themselves from Papa John just like the Louisville Cardinals did.
No. Okay.
What do you think would be a better substitute? What would you want? If you were at a Magic game, what would you want for free?
I mean, it'd be easy to substitute just another like Pizza Hut or something, but
But do you like
I would-
Pizza Hut, Domino's?
Honestly, I actually like Papa John's quite a bit.
I do like Papa John's. And I'm glad
I mean, I
Papa
hate that.
John's
Maybe I
separated
shouldn't
themselves.
admit that on air.
But I do like that Papa John separated themselves from Papa John. So I guess, is it okay to eat again?
Yeah, it's okay to eat again.
Okay.
I mean, I do. I mean, maybe I should not admit that on air, but I do. Hey, by the way, Ian Hall, he keeps tweeting at us. He's giving us hot takes. He says, Lakers versus Magic, NBA Finals, book it. Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
Ian, 100%. No doubt in my mind. And Scout Team Radio, can't be forgetting about my guys at Jimmy Young, What's Up Sports, and at J Will Sports Guy. That's right. We can't forget about your guys over there at What's Up Sports, Ian Hall. They do a great job on their show, so we want to make sure we keep that rolling. So keep the Twitter feedback coming in. We love reading live tweets on the air, so we want to thank all of our listeners for continuing to do that. Again, our Twitter handle is at Scout Team Radio. We keep it up and open during the show so everybody can tweet in and we can give them our hot takes and they can give us their hot takes and we can just have a hot take party left, right, up, down, and in between. Your Oklahoma City Thunder, Chris America, the ones that had a winning streak and then I made a stat mistake and said they were continuing their winning streak. They have had one loss, but last night they come out hot again and they roll 128-103 on the back of Paul George. Still have Russell Westbrook out. Paul George ends up with 35 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and has just another monumental game. And the Oklahoma City Thunder, even without Russell Westbrook, are a hot team right now and continue their winning ways.
Yes, skater legend, coaching legend, Billy Donovan has these boys rolling. They look to be unstoppable right now. Oklahoma City, that would be a great story to finally see them get over that hump. I mean, what was it, 2 or 3 seasons ago? No, it's got to be 3 years now that Katie left. They had the Warriors, the 72-win Warriors on the ropes. They took it. They were up like 3-2 or 3-1, something like that, and the Warriors battled back and won in Game 7. They were just so close. I'm glad to see that the Oklahoma City Thunder have been patient and stuck it out with Billy Donovan. A lot of teams will be quick to fire their coaches, especially in the situation that Oklahoma City was in last year. I was kind of waiting for them to fire him, and then I was kind of hoping my Gators would take him back, but that's another story for another day. But yeah, the Oklahoma City Thunder, they're rolling right now.
Yeah, and you talk about coaches. Some of these teams, they aren't patient with their coaches. So Dwayne Casey gets the Coach of the Year award and gets fired in the same year from Toronto. So to the Detroit Pistons, when they move on from Stan Van Gundy, they pick up Dwayne Casey. So last night, Detroit goes into Toronto, Dwayne Casey's former home, his former team, and they get a dramatic last-second victory as Dwayne Casey gets a huge win. And you could tell it meant a lot for him to go into Toronto and put his team in a position to squeak out a win at the end. Blake Griffin with a big game. So it's good to see a coach coming back and getting some revenge from his former team. Also,
yeah, you like to see that. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Also, last night, we'll call this another historical night. I mean, I talked about LeBron earlier in the show, pre-Chris America, and now I'm going to talk about the great Dallas Mavericks. They were the buzzsaw that ended Oklahoma City's winning streak, and now they are the buzzsaw that goes in and destroys the Utah Jazz by 50 points. Chris America, you heard me? 50 points. Dallas wins 118-68.
Yeah, I don't know what's more impressive, winning by 50 points or holding an NBA team in today's NBA below 70. That's insane.
And if you remember earlier in the season, the Golden State Warriors, they dropped 92 points in the first half of one of their games.
Didn't they drop 68 in like a first quarter or something?
I don't know if it was that high in the first quarter, but it
had to be somewhere around there, right? At least 45 points a quarter.
Right. No, it was. I think they had over 50 in the first quarter of that game. So
yeah.
I mean, Golden State can score in a quarter what the Utah Jazz scored in an entire game. Is what we're trying to get at here. 68. That is. I don't know what the lowest output of an NBA game has ever been. I'm sure back in the 50s there was probably some weird, crazy scores, but in the modern day NBA, 68 is low. I mean, you don't get much lower than 68
no, you don't,
in a game.
It's tough. I mean, that's a high score for a college basketball game, but that is a low score for today's NBA. Loudbeard, I got some bad news for one of your bold predictions.
Let's hear it.
Your 50-win San Antonio Spurs are going to have to pick it up. They lost by 20 points to the Phoenix Suns. They are currently 7-6. Loudbeard, are you still confident 13 games into the season that your San Antonio Spurs will win 50 games?
Oh, no, I'm not confident.
Oh, wow. Just throw them under the bus just like that, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I think the Spurs are a good team. They still have talent. They still have a great coach, and they could easily get to 50 wins. But as I was predicting 50 wins, I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to, throw out a romper bet on this. I wasn't that confident in it. So I'm just going to say that it looks a little shaky for the Spurs, and they're in a tough Western Conference. They're going up against a lot of tough teams. Yeah, I'm not super confident, and I'm going to still say that they can squeak out 50 wins. It's not going to be 51 wins. If they get to anything, it'll be 50 wins. So I think they might be able to squeak it out, but it's going to be tough sledding for these San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, they're going to have to pick it up. Staying around 500 all year is not going to help their cause, but, I mean, they got 43 wins to go. It's doable that they can win 43 wins, over the next 68 games.
And that was our segment, Chris America Does Math.
Yes.
Brought to you by Mathtronics.
69 games left for the
All right,
Spurs.
so you just wanted to say 69. Giggity, giggity.
Giggity,
Okay,
giggity.
moving on. Tonight, the NBA action that we have ahead of us, Houston versus Golden State. This is a significant matchup because we are pairing up a rematch of the Western Conference Finals from last year, where that was a tough-fought battle. But we're also bringing in the drama that is Golden State. Steph Curry, he's going to be out the next 10 days, so he is not going to be playing. You have the Draymond versus KD incident, which from all the reports that I'm seeing, these guys have not talked since that incident. So we have drama swirling in Golden State. They are undermanned with all of their superstars, even though they still have a lot of extra superstars, so they're not really undermanned, but they are undermanned, going up against a Houston team that is not playing Melo, and they are now getting their mojo back, and they are getting hot. So we could be seeing an exciting matchup tonight, Houston versus Golden State. Is this one that you're looking forward to, Chris America?
Oh, without a doubt. Houston, much like the San Antonio Spurs, they need to turn their team around. They need to get something going because they haven't had a very good start. But now that they've gotten rid of the cancer that is Carmelo Anthony, I don't know if it's fair to call him a cancer, but
It is
for
fair.
whatever
No, that's fair.
For whatever reason, he just brings down a team. And you never hear reports of like, oh, he's a bad teammate or he's a bad guy. It's just there's just something about him that just causes teams to not do well with him on there. And they're on a little bit of a winning streak, 2 games at that. But, hey, 2-game winning streak's better than a 2-loss
Baby
losing
steps.
streak. So, yeah, you got to start somewhere. So they got the Rockets, and then they have kind of an easy road after that. They have the Kings, 2 games, back-to-back games against the Pistons, the Cavaliers, the Wizards. So if they win tonight, that'll be a good, launching point into that easy schedule they have coming up to just roll through some more wins and solidify themselves as a top 3 seed.
I'm looking forward to it. It's one of the better NBA matchups that we've seen so far, and I think with all the extra drama and the storylines like Houston needing to get back up and continue this winning streak, I feel strongly that Houston's going to win, but anything could happen. It should be a great matchup. Now, when we talked about that Dallas and Utah game, Chris America, you said that was like a college basketball score. We had some good matchups last night in college basketball. Duke, now this wasn't a great matchup, but they get the win last night. They continue to roll, but I got to continue to ride high on my man, Zion Williamson. This guy is the future of the NBA. He's the future of basketball. He is averaging right now 25 points, 10 assists, and 3 blocks per game. And he's shooting 82%.
Yeah.
He's shooting, his field goal percentage is 82%. This guy is lights out. Duke plays Eastern Michigan, which, that's not like a big matchup, but
hey,
they win 84-46.
Yeah, when you pay a player good money like Duke paid Zion Williams, you definitely try to get your money's worth. And right now, Duke is performing up to his contract. He's performing up to the money that he's earned. He deserved the money that he's getting right now. And, good on them for beating, what was it, Eastern Michigan?
Yeah.
Yeah, good on them.
84-46.
Purdue, the team that beat Ohio State, played Eastern Michigan this year, and they didn't win. So, we can see that Eastern Michigans can beat up the juggernauts of the Power 5, and good on Duke to pay their players and beat the teams that don't pay their players.
So we move from Eastern Michigan all the way over to regular Michigan. So number 18, Michigan, is going up against number 8, Villanova. We're getting a championship rematch last night.
Yes.
So we think this is going to be a great battle, right?
Mm-hmm. It looks good on paper.
It does look good on paper, but the score tells you something completely different. Number 18, Michigan, blows out Nova 73-46. This was not even a close game. This wasn't even at any point did you think that Nova was going to run away with this. Nova only scores 46. Michigan with the rout, big-time win, and a big upset, honestly, at this point. We're now seeing what Nova really is this year. Maybe it's a little bit of a hangover from the championship. I don't know what it is, but we're seeing that Michigan's better than advertised, and Nova, they've got some work to do. They've got to get back out there and try to bounce back from this big loss, but it's an embarrassing loss early in the season.
Yeah, I don't really check Nova's roster movement and everything. I don't know how many players left for the draft or graduated from that team, but Ladrid, at least college basketball tries. At least college basketball pit two of the championship teams against each other. Now, I'm assuming that this was just happenstance, that you just lucked out by this, but you always know that Villanova is always a tournament team, and they've just now recently won 2 championships in the last couple of years, or last few years, and Michigan's always a tournament team, and these two teams got together and said, we're going to play each other, and that's what's great about college basketball. Yes, maybe not every single game is an elimination game in college basketball, but at least you get these matchups, and at least teams aren't afraid to play each other. So good on Michigan and Villanova to make this scheduling happen and playing each other, and I love it.
All right. I like your take.
Sorry it didn't work out, though.
Yeah. Well, we talk about college football a lot. I mentioned that this weekend game day will be coming to Orlando. We will have representation there. But I'm going to move on to my last little bit of news and analysis that I want to talk about, and that is the Thursday night football matchup. You've got Green Bay going up against Seattle. Green Bay sitting at 4-1, and Seattle at 4-5. Both of these teams are sitting outside looking in the playoff picture. They both need a big win on Thursday night football. You have the big names of Aaron Rodgers and the big name of Russell Wilson. What are you expecting out of this game, Chris America? Green Bay versus Seattle.
I hate that this matchup is on Thursday night. I think Thursday night really, especially a team that's traveling. Now, is this in Seattle or is this in Green Bay?
I'd have to look it up, but
okay, I'm pretty sure it's in Seattle. Sure. So having Green Bay travel across the country, I'm on a short week. It's going to be tough for them. I don't think they can't overcome it. I'm hoping that it's a good game, but once you get into November, December, these Thursday night games become kind of garbage because teams aren't rested well enough. They don't get through their walkthroughs. They don't get to watch enough film. And then usually the home team ends up having the benefit of that transaction because they don't have to travel. They don't have to sleep in a hotel room. They can just, stay in the comfort of their own bed, drive into work that day, and go play football where Green Bay, if they're the home or the away team, they got to fly across the country. They got to get into a hotel room. It's not comfortable.
It is
they
in Seattle, though, by the way.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it is in Seattle. So, Green Bay, they're at a disadvantage here, and that's not something they can't overcome, but we don't see it often in Thursday night football games where the home team, the away team does well.
Yeah, and Seattle's favored by 3 in this one. And if you look at the Sports Turd, they have a predictor. It says the Seahawks have a 60.5% chance of beating the Packers. So I think the fact that it is in Seattle, it is a short week, I think this does bode well for Seattle. And Seattle's played good as of late. Even though they've had a couple losses, they've been really close losses, and they've been battling in all of their matchups. And then Green Bay last week has Aaron Jones completely go off. They finally find a running game. Are they going to be able to continue that running game? So this matchup has a lot of exciting factors to it that I don't know, it's a great Thursday night matchup. But like you said, it's tough when you have to travel all the way across country. Yeah. So I think that puts Green Bay at a huge disadvantage. And we could see that on the field, and we see that in Thursday night games. You never know what to expect.
Yeah, and the good news for the Seattle Seahawks is you mentioned they lost a couple of games or a few games, but 2 of those games were against the buzzsaw known as the Los Angeles Rams. They don't have to play them anymore this season. That series is over for them, so now they get to look forward to playing, Arizona, the San Francisco 49ers, and whoever their AFC teams are. Now, I know they play the AFC West, so they do have to play the Chiefs and the Chargers. I don't know if those games have happened yet or not. I haven't really memorized their schedule, but so they got a couple more tough games on there, but at least they don't have to play the Rams anymore.
And then I expect you to memorize everybody's schedule for next week.
Yes, I will have it down pat. I will tell you who the Eastern Michigan Eagles are playing next week.
Are they really Eagles?
I think they're the Eagles.
I have no idea. Honestly, I
my-
don't know anything about Eastern Michigan. Maybe that makes me a bad
Yeah,
sports
they're the
fan,
Eastern Michigan
or maybe
Eagles.
I
You
just
get
don't
the-
care.
You got the Western Michigan Broncos. You got the Central Michigan Chippewas. And I think that's all the Michigan teams that are random. Yeah. Hmm.
All right, stay tuned next week as Chris America gives his in-depth analysis on all things Michigan.
Mascots. Yeah, I can almost name you any FBS mascot.
Well, that's like an uncanny ability. You're like
It is.
the
Just name a
X-Men.
college right now. Just name an FBS school.
Bowling Green.
Bowling Green. I think they're the Hawks.
Aren't they the Big Wave?
No, that's Tulane.
Damn. My bad. Same team.